Well, so Limeng, welcome to my show. Welcome to the
Hi.
Karthik Gurunathan show.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm excited. I'm
Uh-huh.
excited. Wow. So, Penn State has this tradition where it calls
Mm-hmm.
its alums its brightest and best back. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why they're calling you back. And they've been calling you back too many times. So, just for my viewers, real quick, Limang is also she goes by Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Limang is basically someone who did like two PhDs and worked in IST as a PhD student on fraud news detection, fake news detection,
Mm-hmm.
COVID misinformation, a lot of really cool themes. And at 26, she had a bachelor's, she had a PhD, and another PhD. You had two PhDs by the time you were
Yeah.
26.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the school of IST loves her, and she's one of our
Aw.
brightest and best.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for coming, Limang. It's really, it's
It's
really cool to talk to you.
it's my pleasure as well to be
Of
on your
course.
podcast.
Of course. So tell us more about why you're here. And I
Mhm.
think you took a night flight from California, from the West Coast,
Yeah.
just to come here, right?
Yeah.
Just for my podcast?
Yeah, just for your podcast.
Just for my podcast.
I attended a conference called Global Career Institute, which has happened in the past weekend. It was hosted by the global program at Penn State. So they invited me as a panelist for a early career alumni panel. So I shared about my perspective and insights on early career paths. And we had a nice talk with the current Penn State students last weekend. Yeah, so I'm just staying here
Wow.
for the rest of the week.
That is so exciting.
Mhm.
Wow. That is so cool. So I know that you worked on two PhDs, and I
Mhm.
think the broad themes of both of them are essentially the first one is optimization, working on core math problems and things like that.
Yeah.
And the second one is basically IST.
Yes.
Now, I know you worked on fake news detection, so I want to talk about that.
Okay.
So, firstly, your fake news detection model is something called Decode. So, I want my viewers to go check out this paper called Decode. It's
Mhm.
really cool. Uh, you have three components in your model, right?
Mhm.
You have like a news content encoder,
Mhm.
user comment encoder, and a sentence comment component,
Mhm.
right? Oh, sorry, there's another component. There's also a fake news predictor.
Mhm.
So these four components basically make up Decode, right?
Mhm.
Now, I want to sort of delve into the depth of that. The first question I want to ask you is, what is fake news? Like, how do you classify fake news?
Mhm. Fake news, is a type of misinformation, and fake news are those fake stories or myths that intentionally mislead the public so that the news creator can get what they want. Yeah, it really happens in political election. Yeah, we have a lot of political fake news during the 2016 presidential election.
Got
Yeah.
it, got it. So basically, fake news is some sort of a mudslinging thing that both sides in a political tend to do, at least in the political arena.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question.
Mhm.
Now, when you say something is your opinion, right? Let's say
Mhm.
I have an opinion, and my opinion is that the earth is flat. Now, obviously, we all know that that's fake news. But when I
Mhm.
put it out there as a
Mhm.
news article and, have these citations to
Mhm.
some absolutely weird website that says that the earth is flat,
Mhm.
and people start believing that the earth is flat. I mean,
Mhm.
essentially through the article.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually voicing my opinion, right? So, would you still call that misinformation? Because it's opinion and it's not really news, right?
We only fact checked we only do fact checking for the news articles that has that the real source has been verified by a group of professionals and experts. Yeah. So we need something, like we need a database as our baseline, as our truth, and then we fact check other articles based on that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I think I see where you're coming
Mhm.
from. Um, the database pretty much sort of classifies only stuff that's not opinion, and that's like projected as fact, and then you pick up from there, and then you do all of these things.
Yeah, it really depends on the database. What we assume is the ground truth. Like we only care about the algorithms instead of like whether it's real truth or fake truth. Yeah.
Got it. I really like that. And you're in the forefront of explainable AI, right?
Yes.
Now, when we talk about explainability in fake news, it's basically first you go ahead and define what is fake news, and then you go ahead and look for ways to sort of detect it. Right? Now, how is this different from approaches before your paper, before Decode, that is?
Yeah. Before that, there are a lot of researchers doing fake news detection, but their detector can only provide a binary classification results, like whether this news is fake or not, whether it's true or false. So when we provide this kind of detection results to our audience or our users, they might not want to believe what a machine learning and AI say. Like, how did you make this conclusion? This is the fake news. So instead of providing this kind of binary classification result, we want to use auxiliary data like other users' comments on social media to provide more explanations, to provide more evidence to our users and audience to make them believe our detection results.
Got it. And that's why it's sort of one of the first few explainable approaches to fake news, right?
Yes.
So I don't think we understand how important this is. This is like a huge thing. This is a 2021 paper, right? So this is like a huge sort of advancement in the fake news detection field. And in some way, Limeng sort of spearheaded all of that along with Dong Wang Li, right?
You're right. He's my advisor.
He was, correct. Now, you talk about two types of explainability. There's post hoc explainability, and there is intrinsic explainability. Can you tell me what the difference is?
The two. What are the two types again?
Yeah, that's right.
What are the two types?
Intrinsic and post hoc explainability.
Intrinsic is, you mean before?
That's right, yeah. So your paper had this explanation about intrinsic versus post hoc explainability. So I just wanted to talk about that. Essentially, I think what it was trying to talk about was intrinsic is where you look at the source, and I think as it is, you know that it's not good. You classify it to be a fake news article or not. Whereas post hoc would be something like I think it's like it takes in the model and it sort of uses some of the auxiliary data and tries to explain it. I think that's what you're trying to do.
I see.
Yeah.
Now
you had an example in your paper where you say where you quote Pence, and he says Michelle Obama is the most vulgar first lady we've ever had. And what? Tell me more about how the algorithm works on something like this.
For the intrinsic fake news detection, we extract the news from reliable sources, and mostly we extract news from fact-checking websites. So those articles on the fact-checking websites are already verified by a group of experts and professionals. They already fact-check the article. They can tell whether it's fake or not. So we can use these kind of information as our ground truth to train our model. And for the post check fake news detection, we crowdsource those users' comments and users' engagement data on social media like Twitter under those kind of news articles. So we find the user comments that can back up the argument in the articles. So if we want to make a user trust our detection results, we will find the user comments that can explain why this is a fake news, why we shouldn't believe that.
Got it. I think that's a wonderful explanation, and I really like that example where they use the word vulgar as some sort of like a comment encoder kind of a thing.
Mm.
Now, I also had. Okay, so what do you think is the next sort of generation for explainable AI? What's going to happen with explainability in machine learning AI?
The next generation. Well, we all know ChatGPT is some kind of hot topic right now. I feel like for the next generation, the news detector or the fake news detector should have ability to interact with the users. Like if the user want to fact check a article, the detector should not only have the ability to explain whether why this is a fake news or why this is true. It should have the ability to have the conversation with the user. It should let the conversation keep going. Like if the user is not fully convinced, like, can you give me more fact? Can you give me more explanations? The fake news detector should be able to further explain. Should find more evidence to support the argument. Yeah,
that is so cool. I love that. I think I'm waiting for the next generation more so than the current one. I want to go into a little bit about your first PhD.
Okay.
What did you do?
Short answer. I did a support vector machine optimization, tensor analysis. Yeah, it's just pure optimization in math. It's super boring.
Got it. And you did it in Beijing, right?
Yes.
That's nice. So you it was for 4 years or 5 years?
5 years.
Got it. And why did you decide to come to your second PhD exactly? Because people don't like PhDs.
Well, as you just heard, I did a bunch of math stuff. And although I enjoyed doing research, I love math and optimization. But I felt a little bit disconnect between what I learned and the job market at that time. In other words, I couldn't find a job.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I wish that I can use my knowledge in science to and apply it to more real-world professional applications. So instead of doing a postdoc in optimization, because I decided to do a graduate program that is in that where I can develop more humanized technologies. So I looked for graduate programs everywhere, and I found the IST, Information Sciences and Technology at Penn State. This program can fit all my requirements. That's why I came to IST.
Wow. And that was your first time in the US, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So you came to the US in 2019?
2018.
2018. Got it. I also had a question about co-aid. Can you tell us a little more about why you did co-aid? And I think it was published in September 2020, right?
Yes. Like at the beginning of the COVID outbreak, I was really terrified. I was really stressed, probably like every other students here at Penn State. I really wanted to do something, but there's nothing much I could do at that point. All I can do is just stay at home, avoid social, just do practice social distancing, and just stay home, do nothing, wait for the healthcare workers and doctors to do their jobs. But I feel a little bit, I felt that I really need to do something. So at that time, some other researchers reached out to me. They asked if our lab have a fake news data set that on COVID-19. So I said, not yet. I didn't say no, I said not yet. And then I quickly look up online and find out that COVID misinformation is a huge issue. And it might be more harmful than the COVID-19 itself, because a lot of people took the wrong medical advices and get injured or get intoxicated. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to do the COVID data set, which is specifically target for COVID-19 misinfo.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love
Mhm.
that. And you did it in like 3 months or something?
Um, I did 3 months for the first version, but the COVID-19 misinfo kept showing up. It's like, yeah, it's just it seems like it never ends at that time, and so I keep refreshing that data set, updating that data set every 3 months. And yeah, and we submitted to archive in sometime in the summer of 2020, and it was online in September.
That is great. That's
Mhm.
really cool. And so do you prefer publishing papers for conferences, or do you prefer like an archive version of the paper?
Um, well, I think for a lot of times, we if the conference is okay, we'll put the archive version first, and then we submit the paper under review for a conference. It just depends the policy of that conference, but we usually put the paper on archive right before right after the paper accepted by the conference. Yeah.
I
But
see.
yeah, but for this co-aid paper, I feel like I don't quite. I just want that paper to be seen by public as soon as possible. I didn't want to go through the review process of a conference. Yeah.
Got it. So I know back then
Mhm.
everything was a bit of a weird. There was a weird turn of events back then.
Yeah.
So I think what you did then, right, in terms of like ensuring that you publish it in archive is a really really cool thing. I think it's
Mhm.
really cool. Now, how did your defense work when you entered the PhD program in 2018?
Mhm.
You spent 5 years, and then towards the end of it, you have a defense, right? So
Mhm.
how did that work in the College of IST?
Um, how does it work? So I think the most important part before a defense is get approval from your advisor.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you gotta have the talk with your advisor. Like you said, I think I've done a lot of research already. I think I'm ready to do the defense. Yeah, and your advisor will evaluate your research progress, and he or she will decide whether you're ready for a defense. So basically, it depends on your advisor. Yeah, I did my defense in 2022 May. So I had that talk with my advisor in fall 2021. Yeah.
Oh, so 6 months before you defended.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
And then the second difficult part is to find your committee members.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be the same people who are your comprehensive committees, which is like a dissertation proposal. Yeah.
So when is the comprehensive?
Comprehensive exam.
Yeah, comprehensive committee. When is that?
Is usually well, it doesn't have a super strict timeline. It's just it happens between your qualifying exam and your defense. It works the same as defense. It's when your advisor think you're ready. Basically, it's the time that you've done some preliminary research about your field, and also you already have a research plan about the next 2 or 3 papers, and then your advisor may think that you are on the right track, and then you can do the qualifying exam. It's also kind of a presentation where you ask experts from IST and other colleagues to evaluate your research.
I hear
Yeah.
you. I think that's a nice sort of three-part thing. First, you do your qualifiers, then you do your dissertation committee, your comprehensive committee,
Comprehensive, yeah.
and then you defend in
Defend.
So, when did you do your qualifiers? In 2019, I'm guessing.
March 2020.
March 2020. And when did you do your dissertation? The comprehensive.
Oh, you meant qualifying for? Qualifying.
Yeah.
Qualifying was the first one. Sorry, I might be a little.
Yeah.
Qualifying was the first one. It was May 2019.
Okay, so May 2019 qualifying. May.
March 2020 for comprehensive.
And then the third one would be your
defense.
Okay, got it. So there are like 3 steps to doing a PhD.
Yes.
Got it. And obviously, since you've done a PhD before, you kind of knew that. Now, I want to talk about your growing up days.
Okay.
You, so just so that my viewers know, Limeng entered college when she was 14. Undergrad when she was 14. She finished it when she was 18. She started her first PhD soon after, and then finished that at 23, and came to the United States at 23. That's insane. So, tell us more about how you grew up in Beijing.
Okay. I'm born and raised in Beijing, and I entered primary school like other kids. Like I entered primary school when I was 6, and then I took a test for an accelerated program in Beijing, and I got admitted into that program when I was 10 years old. So it was a 4-year accelerated program that helps students to finish the middle school and high school in 4 years. So, well, I can say that I never finished primary school. So yeah, I finished after 4 years. When I was 14, I took the admission exam for college, and then I got into college. When I was 14. Yeah.
That is insane. And after you finished your college, right, when you were 18, why did you decide to do a PhD in China and not anywhere else? Why not in Europe or US or anywhere else?
As reason one, my grade was good in college, so I can get into the grad school without taking more tests. Yeah. And also, I was quite young at that time. Yeah, I was only 17 and starting to think about grad school. And my mom was like, it would be best if you can just do a graduate program in Beijing near us. So maybe we can just take care of you. So yeah, at that time, I think also I'm very interested in optimization stuff. I was quite introverted in college. So yeah, I love science and math. Yeah, it was a great graduate program for me at that time.
I hear you. I think that's very cool. You finished your graduate program, the first one between 18 to 23, and you were just 18. Most people enter college at that time, and you entered a PhD. That's like pretty cool. Do a lot of people in China do that?
Well, I don't think so, because in my for the accelerated program I did for high school, there were only 30 of us. Yeah, so I think there must be other programs in China. I just I don't know any.
Got it. That's pretty cool. Now, tell us more about. So your high school education in China is very different from how U.S. schools work.
Yeah.
Or how schools that I'm used to, Indian schools work. So tell me, what is the difference between the Chinese education system at the primary and middle school and high school level versus American education?
I don't know much about the education system in the U.S., but I've seen a lot in the show, the TV series. I guess for the Chinese education, especially in high school, like study is our primary goal. It is our primary task. We study like crazy hours. The school may start at 8, but we were supposed to be there around 7:30 or 7, and we need to do some independent study. We just review our course, and yeah. And then after, like, the school usually ends at 4 or 5 in the evening, but that's not the end of the day. We got to stay in school until 7 or 8 or even 9 if, like, when we were in the last year of our high school. We just need to study a lot to review what we studied and to do more exercise. So I think my life is always studying and studying, and there's only one entrance exam every year for college, and that one really matters. We got to have a high score to get into a good college. But like for education in the US, I've talked to a lot of American students. I've seen a lot on TV series. It seems like they have so many after school clubs, like extracurriculum activities. They have chess club, they have jogging club. Yeah, it seems like doing extracurriculum activities matters a lot in their applications for college.
Got it. And you're saying in China they didn't do that much, so you didn't have like swimming clubs, like basketball and things like that?
We have, but it's not encouraged.
It's not encouraged.
Because, studying is our primary goal to get into college. Yeah.
Got it. And you study to get into college.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Now, when you transitioned to the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's mostly what is the age of people who come to the US right after their undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more about what you felt. How was the transition? Was it rude? Was it shocking? Was it fun? Was it like, okay, this is like a different country, I don't know what to do?
Oh, all of them. Yeah, I was like shocked. This is a new country. I have no idea what to do. I think the most biggest difficulty for me is the language barrier.
Okay.
I learned a lot of English when I was in China, but I still didn't know how to make conversation with people.
Okay.
Like, for example, I learned from the textbook. The answer to "How are you?" the question is "Fine, thank you, and you." But actually, no one talks like that in the US.
Got it. That's very nice. Okay, that's very interesting. So you knew bookish English, but you hadn't interacted with people in English. So how did you do that? How did you learn to interact with people and things like that?
Yeah, I was trying to find a course or some way to improve my oral English, but it turns out that my English got a lot better after a few phone calls with the customer service. Yeah, I was like, I bought some clothes from online, like Macy's and Nordstrom, and I find out the size doesn't fit. So I was just trying to get a refund, and I had to talk to the customer service on the phone. And I got a lot of clothes. I needed to do a lot of returns and refund. Surprisingly, my English got a lot better after a few phone calls.
After a few phone calls?
Yeah.
So that's a huge tip. So my viewers, this is a tip for you. If you struggle with conversational English, buy a few clothes and return them. That's the best tip I've ever heard to improve conversational English. Did you start buying clothes just to improve conversational English?
No, that was just pure accident. Yeah.
Wow. And what about your lab mates? Are they all English speaking? Do they speak other languages? What about your advisor? How did you speak to them?
My lab is surprisingly diverse. Basically, we all come from different countries. Like, my lab mates are from South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and India. and and some Americans, just Americans. Yeah. So our lab is shockingly diverse. We speak English for most of the time. My advisor came from South Korea. He can speak Korean,
Okay.
but he always speaks English with us. He also speaks English with other Korean students.
Wow, wow. So that there's uniformity.
Yeah.
I hear you, and that's pretty cool,
Mhm.
and that's nice. Now, in the US, right, it's actually quite important to sort of have a good relationship with your
Mhm.
advisor when you
Mhm.
do a PhD. I
Yeah.
don't know how it is in other countries, but that's mostly the case everywhere, at least now.
Yeah.
So, how did you do that?
Mhm.
Like, obviously, it's not easy,
Yeah.
right? Because you're meeting this person, and
Mhm.
you're gonna pretty much be in their lab.
Mhm.
You're gonna be working with this person for 5 years of your life.
Yeah.
You know that when you sign the commitment.
Mhm.
So you're just like, what if this person doesn't like me? I have
Mhm.
barely interacted with them. What if this person's working style is not with me?
Yeah.
So tell me more about what is a successful advisor student relationship.
Mm. Well, to give a short answer, the most successful relationship is just being co-workers, collaborators, instead of the supervisor and the employee. Yeah. Like, my advisor is surprisingly chill and nice. He treats us like co-workers, like collaborators. He never requires us to do anything. He always asks our opinions. Like, he always makes sure if we are comfortable doing what we are doing for research.
Got it, got it. So he's very open-minded in that sense.
Yeah.
So, why is it better to be in a collaborator sort of relationship than an advisor? Because I feel like
Mhm.
there's a lot of people who are lost at
Mm.
school. So when you come in, right, like, so when you came into this school, you were not an expert in explainable AI. You
Mhm.
weren't an expert in any whatever the field you
Mhm.
choose to do. So your advisor is the expert,
Yeah.
and you expect to learn from them.
Mhm.
You're expected to learn from them.
Mhm.
So how do you how can you collaborate with someone if you do not have sufficient skills
I see.
initially? That is,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I guess my advisor definitely provide guidance all the time, because like no matter how senior we are in the PhD program, we're still like babies to him, because he has been in this field for over 20 years. So he always provides guidance for our research. But in terms of the direction, like the topics that we're going to work on, he's always respectful and asks for our opinions. So yeah, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. And also, I feel like although we might not be expert in this field, but we always have new ideas. And after we read papers, and my advisor kind of encouraged us to always have new ideas, to think out of the box. Like, if every time it's him telling us what to do, our lab won't have much creativity, because it will be just him telling us to implement his own ideas.
Got it, got it. So it's not like he had a stock set of
Mm.
problems, and he's like, okay, now I have a PhD student, I'm going to give them this problem. It was never like that, right?
Mhm.
I love that. So you pretty much constructed your own problems. You carved your own niche. So
Mhm.
if you wanted to do fake news detection,
Mhm.
you did that.
Yeah.
You chose that.
Mhm.
That is so cool.
Mm.
Now then the question is, how did you choose that? Why didn't you choose something else? Why didn't you choose image classification, or why didn't you choose behavioral cues prediction or something like that?
Oh, it was because my advisor just got a huge funding for fake news detection at that point, and it was a super hot topic back in 2017 and 2018. like right after the presidential election. So I'm personally very, very interested in that topic. Yeah. And I think at first I did, I tried to figure out whether the cover photo of the image is related to what it says in the article. So I was just very personally attractive to these kind of applications.
Got it. I think that's really cool. I want to go on a rant here. There's a reason I don't like academia. I'm not a big fan of academia. I feel like academia has become its own space, its own set of people doing its own set of so-called important things. And many things that you do don't really work on the ground. They're not accessible. They don't evolve as a product. They don't evolve as a service. None of that. But if the same thing were to be done as a company, it's so much easier and it's so much better, because you essentially search for funding as a entrepreneur. You try to build on an idea and you try to serve it to people. I feel like academia is one of those very, very weird spaces where you look for funding, but it doesn't really help people very tangibly. And I think there are exceptions to that rule. One of them is your paper, Defend, because I feel like Defend was used by so many companies. Now, I feel like this whole cycle of academia, which feeds onto itself, where you have this person becoming an assistant professor in a school, and then their sort of advisee becoming an assistant professor in a neighboring school, I think it's going to break very soon. Because I'm just like, sometimes I don't understand what's the point of all of this. But what do you think?
It's just the pros and cons of academia and industry. For in industry, I think the most important thing for a professor is to get fundings, to write a lot of grant proposals and then get fundings and then fund PhD students and train them to help them graduate it. So to get the fundings, those grant proposals might not be directly applied to the industry in 10 or 15 years. It's basically just an idea. Like, it's very ideal methods that works in a very ideal world. But the point is to get fundings so that the professors can get more PhD students. So it might be a little bit detached to real world applications. And also for the PhD students, the most important thing to do is to get them trained during the PhD program. So I feel like getting those PhD students trained and enable them the ability to do independent research is the most important thing. I think this is how academia works. But as for industry, well, sometimes maybe from a CEO's perspective, that the company can work on some really cool ideas and apply it in the real world settings. But based on my job, like for a lot of times, the most important thing we do is to bring profit, provide avenues for the companies. This might not exactly match the original idea.
I hear you. So just from an ideation and idea solving, problem solving perspective, academia is better suited, right? Now, you took the conscious decision to go to industry after your PhD.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
As I said, I'm very attractive to real world applications. Yeah, I always wanted to use my knowledge in science to apply it in the real world settings. So that's why I chose the industry firmly.
Got it. So I like that. So you're saying you like real world stuff, and you knew this when you finished your PhD as well, right? The first PhD.
PhD, yeah.
So I think that's what sort of motivated you to do what you're doing now. That's very cool. Now, do you think PhDs are a job, or do you think PhDs are just a study thing?
It can be both.
It can be both.
But I see it more like a job. Like I do research job every day and get paid with really little stipend.
Got it. I think I'm in that phase in my life as well. You work a lot and you get paid nothing. But eventually it does pay off because you're in Amazon as an applied scientist, right? That's pretty cool. And you interned there as well. So you had a bunch of internships during your PhD. Where did you intern, and how did you choose the companies?
I interned at 3 companies throughout my PhD study. The first one is Acvia. It is a healthcare consultant company. The second one is Facebook AI. Now they call it Meta AI. And third one is Amazon, where I got a return offer and then became a full-time employee. So for my first internship at Acvia, I did it after the first year of my PhD study. I was just I submitted many internship applications, but because I didn't have much internship experiences in the U.S., I didn't quite know what I'm interested in. So I felt like I have a feeling that I can do any internship. I can do any job related to machine learning and data mining.
Yeah. I think you can.
So I chose this healthcare company. I dealt with a lot of EHR data, the electronic healthcare records data. It was a lot of fun. I studied rare disease detection.
As part of your internship?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Isn't that one of your papers?
Yes.
You published as part of your first internship, is it?
Yes. It's called Conan. It was published in AAAI.
Got it. And your second internship as well, you published, is it?
That didn't end up with an publication, but we studied multitask learning.
Got it. And that was after your third year in your PhD?
My second internship at Meta AI, that one was after my second year of PhD.
Got it. And so third year and fourth year you didn't do... Oh, third year... You didn't do an internship?
Oh, third year. After the third year, I did at Amazon.
Oh, you finished your PhD in 4 years?
4 years.
Oh, yeah, correct. 2022.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So you did an internship in pretty much every summer. And your advisor was okay with that?
Yeah, he kind of encouraged us to do so because we studied data science. It's very important for us to solve these applications in the real world setting.
Got it. So you went ahead and applied to this during the fall of your PhD, and you were just like, okay, cool. If I get in, I'll go. And you got in. Wow. Yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool. Now, how was your... tell me a little more about how your typical day was as a PhD student. You'd get up and then you'd work for like 20 hours and sleep, is it?
Yeah. Normal day, I get up and do research, find somewhere to have lunch, and then do research, dinner, and I exercise a little bit, and then more research and sleep. So basically just research, food, and exercise. Super simple.
I love that. No, I love that. And a little bit of sleep, like 2 hours of sleep. I love that. So, wait, but you were part of a few clubs when you were in Penn State, right? You were part of the Chinese Student Association.
Student Council, yeah.
Got it. What did you do there? How was it like?
It's a kind of platform of the global program at Penn State. It aims to help the Chinese students to help them to better fit in Penn State and just try to help the Chinese students find out what service the global program can provide to the Chinese students.
Got it. And this is a grad community, is it? Grad student community, is it?
Not just graduate students.
It's undergrads as well.
Yeah, both
Okay.
undergrad and graduate student.
So at some point you were like an advisor to these students. You were like, hey, this is how you do things and things like that.
I was like a bridge connecting
Oh.
the graduate students, Chinese graduate community, and the global program. Yeah.
Got it.
Um,
And
s-
what's global program?
It's a department at Penn State that try to connect all the global students, the global student, local student, and they also recruit the global students to Penn State, and they also help the Penn State students to study abroad.
Wow. So you're saying it's like some sort of a liaison to students locally, as in Penn State students from the US who study at Penn State. That's pretty cool. That's actually very cool. And I love that. I love that you actually took time out to do this. So what I feel like a lot of international students suffer from this. They don't have friends outside of their community, and your PhD tends to be a time where you just like sit in one place.
Yeah.
But you are a notable exception. Limeng has friends from everywhere. She has friends from everywhere. How did you manage to do that?
The answer is simple. Just try to talk to different people outside your community. Like I know for a lot of graduate students, we don't go to a lot of class, and the majority time we spend on is to do research at our own lab, and we seldom have interactions with people outside from our lab.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the life for a graduate student is so different from undergrad students. So I just talk to everyone I met. I proactively participate in the school event, the college event, and like whenever whoever needs a volunteer or anything, I'm totally down. So yeah, that's how I meet more people, more friends outside from my social circle.
That's very cool. Wow. So you just like randomly like sign up to be a volunteer in these events, is it? So what kind of events did you attend while you were at Penn State?
IST has a graduate student association. They're pretty cool. They host events every once in a while. So I actively participated in those kind of events. Oh, even though when I had a paper due, like when I have a lot of coursework, I still like force myself to socialize, to meet new people, to meet other people from the college. And also for the Chinese student council, I happened to see like a career advice workshop or session hosted by a global program. So I signed up. I talked with the student coordinator at global program, and then they sent me that they had an advertisement asking for volunteers for that Chinese student council. So I signed up as well, and I met a lot more friends from the Chinese student council.
Got it. And that's how you volunteered for these events, and you have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And you're one of those grad students who doesn't have friends in their own race group. You don't have just Chinese friends. You have Indian friends. You have non-IST friends. You have all sorts of friends. And I love that. I love that. A lot of people don't do that. I feel like a lot of people get into this shell where they're like, I'm going to only talk to people from my background, people from my city, whatever. I love that. Now you like to go to the bars.
Yeah.
I have I've heard from people that you like to go to the bars. So what bars do you like? What's your favorite bar at Penn State?
Oh, my favorite bar is definitely Basement. It is my favorite.
Wow. Things have just gotten better. I love the Basement.
Oh, cool.
I love the Basement. I've gone to the Basement quite a bit. We used to, in fact, the first bar I've ever gone to in State College is Doggies. and the second one is I think Champs, and the third one was Basement. And Basement blew my mind. I'm not even kidding.
Right. Me
It's so
too.
nice.
Yeah.
Do you go there for Latin night?
Yes. Oh my God, Latin night is so cool. It wasn't there in 2018 when I first came to the State College.
Okay.
And yeah, it just suddenly appeared.
Wow. So why do you like the Basement? What's so cool about it?
Oh, the music.
The music,
The
right?
music, yeah, and the dancing pool.
Yeah.
And everyone there seems so cool, and they really had a time that they really enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one thing I've learned in the Basement is I've actually seen that people are a little more open to conversation. They might be drunk, but they're still open to conversation. So I like talking to people in Basement. It's just fun to talk to people who are not like you. And I try to do that a lot in Basement.
Yeah.
Other bars I've tried, and I think I like it. I like it. I like the vibe of State College bars. But have you gone to Cafe 210?
Oh, Cafe 210 is also my favorite. I like the chill vibes there that you can talk to your friends, just enjoy a casual night. Yeah.
I agree. Cafe 210 is fun. I like... we went to Sharky's last week. You've never been to Sharky's?
No, I don't know.
Yo, have you been to P-Man's?
Yeah.
Auntie Brothers?
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
That one is also my favorite. Yeah. I not only enjoy the food, but also the vibes there.
Got it. P-Man's is fun. Sharky's is fun. Doggies is really fun.
Oh, Doggy. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Doggy
Champs.
is very chill. Oh, Champ. Yeah.
Champs is so good. Champs is like an institution. I feel like it's been there forever.
Their music is always good.
Yeah. Have you been to First?
First, yes, of course.
First is really good.
Yeah, I really love their fries.
What?
The fries, yeah, at first, yeah.
At First?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have the fries at First. I've never had food. I don't ever have food in bars. That's so weird. But I'm going to do that.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about... have you been to Zeno's?
Zeno's? Where is that? Is it new?
No. So you know Pickles, right? You've been to Pickles.
Yes.
So right outside Pickles, there's like these steps that goes down.
Oh.
And it's like a really small bar.
Is it like a secret bar?
It's a secret bar.
Oh.
It's literally like in the... Like it's opposite the old mill. It's like the most prominent place to hold a bar and nobody goes there. I mean, people go there, but then like a lot of people don't go there. And then they have like a strict limit as to how many people can like stand and stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't allow you.
I'll definitely visit there before I head back to San Francisco.
Oh my God, you should go to Okay, don't go to Sharky's. Go to Zeno's. You've been to Chumley's? Pickles, obviously.
Yeah, Pickles. Yeah, Pickles Country Night is amazing.
Yes, you're right. Wait. Friday is around the corner, right?
Yeah.
Day after tomorrow is Friday. Are you planning to get drunk?
Of course. On Friday, our lab is going to have a small gathering at Cafe 210.
Okay.
You are invited if you are interested. You can go.
Oh, that's really nice. That's very nice of you. I want to. Yeah, sure. I'll come say hi to the IST buddies. You know, I'll tell you what. Computer science is the most boring department, so to say, because nobody has any social events. People are just like coding.
Yeah, I can get that.
That's so stupid. Like, that's so stupid. Like, I get it. It's all fun. But then it's not fun when your advisors are just like studying all the time and they're just, like out and about and not like involved in the community. But I love IST. IST is so much more fun. One final question to you. I heard the West Coast is treating you better than Pennsylvania. I'm kind of offended.
West Coast. Well, I love SF. SF is so much fun. Yeah. You can easily find a lot of fun activities to do on weekends, and there are so many cool bars in SF.
What? You're like the only person who's ever told me SF is fun.
Well, maybe it's not as fun as LA or New York, but I mean, I'm from State College. I'm good with the bars in SF.
Got it. No, I hear you. I love that. You know, if SF is fun, I'm gonna go to SF. You're the first person to tell me that. if you can find bars and if you can find Halloween party, I loved your Halloween party, but it was so much fun.
Thank you.
if you can find a nice places to hang out, then maybe even I can. So I'm gonna make the move to SF super soon. But hey, here's the thing, Limeng. Thank you so much for coming on board.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun chatting with you. I love your research. It's so much fun, and you're a great person. And thanks for coming back to Penn State.
Yay! I'm so excited as well.
Well, we are. Yep.